Pretty good. Thank you for your program. I was wondering if you and Bob would perhaps help me out. I have, quite a bit in gold and silver, and I do have some stocks, but I do need to diversify into, you're talking about the currency of the U.S. going down. So I was wondering, there are something I heard of called you can buy currency shares of Swiss franc or Canadian dollar or Australian dollar. Do you think those diversifying out of the dollar temporarily by buying some of those currency shares would make any sense?
The cheapest way to do that, if you want to do it, is to buy the treasury bonds of the country involved. Swiss franc government treasuries, Canadian government treasuries. That's the way you do it. And the commissions are minuscule. I know one firm that charges $25 for the trade, whether it's for $10,000 or $10 million. So that's the cheapest way to do it. When you get into the ETFs, you're gambling. And when you get into buying currencies forward, sure, they'll say, we charge you 0.75% in, 0.75% out. Sounds good. But they don't tell you that they're making a market in the currencies and that they're acting as principal and taking a piece out of the front end. So you're not going to pay 1.5% to get in and out. You're probably going to pay more like 6 or 7%. So I don't recommend currencies. It's gold and silver coins, bars if you choose. I don't like them. And gold and silver shares. You know exactly what you're getting for your money.
Okay. So I do have a lot of gold and silver shares, but I would like to kind of diversify it otherwise. And if I called your number, could you give me the place, the broker or whoever it is that would sell?
Absolutely. We help everybody. And incidentally, we never get paid anything by anybody to do anything except the people who subscribe. And in talking in relation to getting a good coin broker who's honest or a stockbroker who's knowledgeable and honest, all you have to do is email me. And that's bob@intforecaster.com. bob@intforecaster.com, and we will help you, believe me.
Okay.
And Frank, just to
I can't use the internet.
Beg pardon?
I'm handicapped. I can't use the internet.
I tell you what you can do. Call 800-375-4188. That's 800-375-4188. And you just tell them that you want to talk to me. Be sure you elucidate your number properly, and I will call you.
Okay, I certainly appreciate that. Can I ask one more question?
Sure, go ahead. But let me, our number is 1-888-24-LIBERTY, 1-888-24-LIBERTY, or 464-8295. And Frank, go right ahead.
Okay. Just as a matter of curiosity, our country is in financial problems. So around the world, I know you follow, what's going on globally. Stocks sometimes they give a AAA rating, a AA rating. Could you name 3 or 4 countries around the world that you think would have the highest financial rating if you were going to put a financial rating on countries?
Well, the Swiss and the Canadians, up until a few weeks ago, Sweden had a very high rating, but they now have negative interest rates, if you can believe that. In other words, they pay you to borrow money. And so I'll have to leave them out. But Norway has an extremely good rating. Not England, not the United States. Those are the best ones. If you want to follow up, you might try Australia, but now you've got 4 places to go to. I prefer Canada and Switzerland. Norwegian bonds are not easy to buy, but you can get them. And none of them pay over 1.5%. I mean, we're in a world that you don't make any money doing that. All you're doing is hedging against the dollar.
Okay. Can I ask one more question?
Sure, go ahead.
As long as Uncle Stan
Go right ahead.
September and October are always just a matter of curiosity. Do you think that September and October are going to be a big decline, and then as sort of the normal stock market situation every year, those 2 months seem to be the worst, and then it kind of goes back up around Christmas time in January and February, and then kind of starts down again? Do you think that's kind of what might kind of happen this year?
I think so, and if for no other reason, the stock markets of the world, never mind the U.S. market, are vastly overpriced. And so the chances of that happening are very good. I certainly don't see it going much higher because the leadership's been so poor, the earnings stink, and on top of that, you've got extraordinarily low volume, the lowest since 1993. And I might add, and this is terrifying, 73% of the trades are black box, which is algorithms, which are computer programs, and they just play like a casino. Now, if you were to take all of that away, I mean, what would you have left of the market? Not very much.
But I really do
if
believe
a firm like Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan Chase, Citigroup, Morgan Stanley, if they were to go out of business, there wouldn't be much of a stock exchange left.
And of course, they're all lying about their earnings. And I mean, we are subsidizing with our tax money. In fact, we gave Goldman Sachs $12.5 billion in the second quarter of next year, and they made an amazing profit of about $3.5 billion. My goodness, if you give me a $12.5 billion, I could make $3.5 billion myself. Why did they make so little when we gave them so much? Well, because they're head over heels in debt. They're all lying about the situation. I think Bob believes, as I do, that most of these major banks are all bankrupt. But believe me, somebody's salting the money away. And we're seeing the greatest transfer of wealth in all history from the average taxpayer here in the United States to the ruling elite that all tie into the Brotherhood of Darkness. We'll be back in just a moment. Hold just a moment.